Asahi is transported to another world without any special powers and struggles to survive. However, everything changes when his sister, Maya, ends up in the same world and reveals her incredible strength that can defeat enemies in just one strike. From then on, Asahi continues his journey with Maya, trying to grow stronger while dealing with both admiration and frustration toward his overly protective sister. That day, the village was in chaos. Everything was on fire, and people were running everywhere, trying to save themselves. The village had been attacked by 3 ogre brothers. A little girl was crying and hiding in fear, while the 3 ogres roamed around, searching for any humans who might still be alive. Suddenly, a young boy appeared before the 3 ogres who were celebrating their victory. He drew his sword and confidently introduced himself as Isekai'd Asahi, the adventurer. The 3 ogres mocked him for daring to challenge them alone. But with a calm yet arrogant tone, Asahi warned them not to attack him, saying that they would regret it if they did. He even told them not to hold a grudge against him afterward. The first ogre grew angry at Asahi's confidence and leaped forward to attack. But before it could reach him, a massive sharp stone suddenly erupted from the ground and impaled the creature. The rock shattered, and then Isekai'd Maya appeared. She pulled the stone out of the ogre's body, leaped into the air, and released a powerful explosion toward the other 2. One of the ogres was instantly destroyed, and the remaining one froze in terror at the sight of Maya standing before it. Back in the real world, Asahi had actually died while saving a young girl from a traffic accident. He realized that his body had moved on instinct to push her out of the way, but he didn't survive. From a distance, he saw the girl safe and sound, which made him feel thankful. At least it was a happy ending. Even in that moment, he found himself thinking about the upcoming release of Armored Core, which he never got to play. He wondered whether the afterlife had video games too. Then his thoughts drifted to his friends and family, especially his older sister Maya. He started to imagine how she would react when she learned he was gone. Just then, a bright light appeared in front of him and began to pull him in. The light transported him to another world, a place that looked just like something out of a role-playing game. Asahi kept walking, amazed by everything around him, until he accidentally bumped into a man. He quickly apologized, and the man kindly told him to be careful. The place looked like medieval Europe, except everyone was speaking Japanese. When Asahi spotted a guild and a skill shop, he suddenly realized what was going on. After dying in the accident, he must have been reincarnated into a game world. Overwhelmed with excitement, Asahi shouted out loud, drawing confused looks from the people nearby. Realizing how strange he must have seemed, he tried to compose himself. He took out his phone, hoping to take a selfie and upload it, but there was no signal anywhere. Without a way to contact anyone and no money to his name, Asahi decided he'd just have to survive on his own. He went to a pawn shop to sell his phone. The shopkeeper was fascinated by the strange item, calling it a rare find, and offered him 500 coins for it. Asahi used the money to buy a sword and some armor. To him, it was simple. If you're broke in a game, you just sell useless items to get what's important. After changing into his new gear, he tested out his sword. With his speed and reflexes, he figured he was best suited to fight on the front line. Feeling ready, he decided to begin his new adventure. He headed to the guild to register for a quest. The guild receptionist, Thanya, greeted him warmly. Asahi told her he wanted to take on his first mission. Excited to help a new adventurer, Thanya asked if he was nervous, then handed him a registration form. After filling in his name, Thanya helped him choose a beginner quest. She recommended hunting a killer rabbit, saying it was one of the easiest tasks available. Without giving it much thought, Asahi accepted. But as soon as he arrived at the location, he found himself facing a massive wyvern instead of a rabbit. The creature roared and unleashed a wave of fire, forcing Asahi to run for his life. He couldn't believe it. The quest difficulty was way too high for a beginner. He started to think maybe the game system was bugged. Dodging blast after blast, he tried to calm himself down and think of a plan. When he checked his status, he saw that his only available skill at level 1 was Throw Rock. Looking further, he was shocked to discover that he was classified as a non-playable character. A blast from the wyvern knocked him off his feet. With no other option left, Asahi grabbed a rock and threw it in desperation, but his throw barely reached the target. The wyvern drew closer, flames burning in its throat. In panic, Asahi shouted for his sister, calling out Maya's name. In an instant, Maya appeared beside him, asking if he had called her. Seeing her brother alive made her smile with relief. The wyvern attacked again, hurling another wave of fire, but Maya's body effortlessly floated into the air, dodging the flames. She could feel something incredible within herself. Her body felt light, her mind clear, and her power immense. She was certain she had the strength to protect her little brother. With a single strike, Maya defeated the enormous wyvern. Asahi stood there, stunned, watching the creature crumble in just one hit. He couldn't believe what he had just seen. Still catching his breath, Asahi asked how Maya managed to come to this world. Maybe it was some kind of illusion, or maybe anything was possible in a world like this. Maya hugged him tightly, saying how much she had missed him. She gently touched his face and held him close, making sure he was really there, that it was truly her younger brother standing before her. Asahi smiled, realizing without a doubt that the woman embracing him was indeed his real sister, the one who always loved and protected him more than anyone else. Maya described the other world as fascinating, and Asahi asked again why she had also come long into it. Maya explained that Asahi's real body was still in a coma at the hospital after the accident. She had been deeply worried because he wouldn't wake up, often murmuring about another world in his sleep, sometimes even smiling happily. That made her form a hypothesis, that Asahi's soul had gone to another world. Because of that, she had tried to follow him there, even if it meant hurting herself to make it happen. Asahi then asked if that meant he was still alive in the real world. Maya reassured him that his consciousness hadn't returned yet, which made Asahi feel relieved knowing that he was still alive. Still, he was puzzled about why Maya was so strong in this world. Maya smiled and said that it was simply the strength of an older sister who deeply loved her little brother. She then shook Asahi's hand warmly. Asahi told her that his time in this world had already served its purpose, and that he wanted them both to return to the real one. Unfortunately, Maya admitted she didn't know how to go back. That made Asahi panic. He couldn't believe Maya had followed him into another world without even knowing the way home. But for Maya, nothing was more important than Asahi's safety. She felt excited and determined to live strongly beside him in that strange new world. Soon after, Maya defeated the third ogre that had destroyed the village, taking it down with overwhelming strength. She couldn't forgive the creature for harming innocent villagers, and even more so because those ogres had mocked Asahi, calling him Shorty. To her, that insult made them deserving of punishment. Maya grew frustrated when she noticed a small cut on Asahi's right cheek. She felt guilty for allowing his smooth skin to get hurt. She offered to heal him with an elixir, though normally such potions were reserved for fighting final bosses. Asahi told her it wasn't necessary, that such a small wound could heal easily. Maya teased him playfully, suggesting that maybe he wanted her to lick it better. Asahi quickly clarified that wasn't what he meant, but Maya seemed amused and didn't take it seriously. The villagers nearby watched the scene between them curiously. The townspeople were grateful that their village was finally safe. A little girl named Anae told everyone that Asahi was the one who defeated all three augurs. The villagers cheered and called Asahi a hero. Asahi was confused as to why Maya's accomplishment was being credited to him, but Maya seemed proud to hear her beloved younger brother being praised. The villagers quickly gathered around Asahi to thank him. Deep down, Asahi knew the real hero was his sister, not him. Later, Thanya congratulated Asahi for his promotion as an adventurer. From the rabbit rank up to the ogre rank, it was considered one of the biggest leaps in rank ever achieved in such a short time. She then handed him the ogre badge. Thanya explained that this badge worked like an identification card issued by the capital, meaning it couldn't be sold or given to others. Asahi assured her he would never do that. After all, it was the first time he had ever been praised so sincerely. Thanya also reminded him that falsifying one's rank was strictly forbidden. Asahi didn't quite understand what she meant by falsifying a rank, so Thanya gave an example. Pretending to be stronger than one actually was, just to get a higher rank, was considered a serious crime, and being caught could have fatal consequences. Thanya reassured him that he didn't need to worry about such things. Asahi laughed, though inwardly he was quite anxious. Afterward, Asahi begged Maya to hide her real strength and make it look like he was the powerful one instead. Maya didn't completely understand why, but she agreed to try. Asahi asked if she could check her status screen or stats, but Maya seemed confused about what he meant. She even thought he was asking about her body measurements. Asahi quickly explained that she just needed to hold out her hand and say status to bring up her panel. But when they tried it, no information appeared on the screen. The display was strange, its color distorted, and Asahi wondered if her power was simply too great for the system to measure. He couldn't help but think how strange it was that his sister, not he himself, had ended up being the strong one in this world. Before they continued, Asahi told Maya to make sure never to show her status to anyone else. It had to remain their secret. Maya agreed, then teasingly added that she was also curious about Asahi's own secret numbers, like how many moles he had on his body. Suddenly, the townspeople began cheering and calling out Siegfried's name. Some of them shouted words of encouragement for the 4 heroes who were about to face the demon lord. Curious, Asahi asked if those 4 were famous in that place. Huan, the man Asahi had met earlier at the pawnshop, explained that they were members of the strongest clan in the region called Balmung. He added that this parade was a send-off before they set out to battle the demon lord. That was when Asahi learned that a demon lord actually existed in this world. He thought of it like the final boss in a game. Asahi recalled a theory about reincarnation that said defeating the demon lord might allow someone to return to their original world. Hearing that, Maya confidently declared that she would defeat the demon lord herself, but Asahi doubted it would be that easy. Juan laughed and said that even high-ranked adventurers needed more experience before facing such a powerful enemy. The leader of Balmung, Siegfried the Dragon Hunter, was a Dragon-class adventurer, a rank 2 tiers above Augur class. Asahi was amazed, thinking that one day he wanted to become that strong too. Suddenly, a man named Delin burst into anger, saying that he had always hated Siegfried and calling him an arrogant brat. In his rage, Delin smashed a table in the tavern. The atmosphere turned tense as no one dared to stop him now that Siegfried was gone. Although Delin had been demoted from his previous rank, he was still a former ogre-class adventurer, and aside from Asahi, no one else there had that level of power. People in the tavern recognized Asahi as the young genius who had climbed ranks at an incredible pace. Then, a little girl, the daughter of the tavern owner, ran up to him, pleading for Asahi to avenge her father's restaurant. As soon as the townsfolk heard Asahi's name, they began cheering for him, calling him a hero and chanting his name over and over, begging him to help the girl. Asahi was completely bewildered. He wondered why everyone was relying on him. After all, it would be disastrous if they found out how weak he actually was. Delin sneered and insulted Asahi, calling him short. Maya became furious that someone dared to mock her younger brother, but Asahi quickly tried to calm her down, reminding her that the person in front of them was still a human being. However, Maya declared that she would bombard Delin with spells until he regretted everything he had done. Delin scoffed and challenged them to attack him if they dared. At that moment, Asahi whispered something to Maya, and she nodded, promising to grant whatever request he might have later. Delin grew irritated, feeling mocked as they whispered in front of him. Asahi then taunted Delin, calling him a drunk and saying it was embarrassing that someone like him had been surpassed by a much younger Siegfried. He even asked if Delin had become a coward. His confident teasing enraged Delin even more, pushing him over the edge. Delin charged toward Asahi, but before he could reach him, the ground in front of him suddenly split open. Terrified, Delin fell to his knees, begging for forgiveness before fleeing in panic. The entire crowd erupted in cheers, praising Asahi for his incredible feat. In reality, the plan had worked perfectly, thanks to Maya's discreet magic. Asahi was amazed that it actually succeeded. He had managed to appear strong, drive Delin away, and avoid hurting anyone. He thought to himself that this was the perfect happy ending. But Maya reminded him of something important, his promise. She smiled mischievously and leaned closer, saying that he owed her whatever she wanted. When she seemed ready to kiss him, Asahi panicked and ran away as fast as he could, while Maya kept shouting after him to keep his promise. Asahi had recently been summoned to another world, and at that moment, he was hunting slimes. As a beginner adventurer, he managed to defeat a single slime with one swing of his sword. It might have looked a bit embarrassing, but in the end, he was able to take it down easily and earn a single point. His older sister, Maya, however, was on a completely different level. She wiped out every slime in sight with a single burst of fire. If their strength were compared, Asahi's would be about 1 to Maya's 100,000. Even so, Maya praised Asahi for managing to defeat one slime on his own and rewarded him with a gentle kiss on the cheek. Meanwhile, Balmung was powerless against Kilmeria. Siegfried was stunned. After all, their group had once fought and defeated a dragon. He asked who Kilmeria really was. Kilmeria replied that she was someone far stronger than any dragon. Annoyed, Siegfried lunged forward to strike her, but in an instant, Kilmeria's power overwhelmed him, shattering his sword effortlessly. Bored by how easily every opponent fell to her, Kilmeria began to wonder where she might find a fighter strong enough to entertain her. As Maya walked beside Asahi, she suddenly sneezed. Asahi guessed she might have caught a cold, since she always dressed so lightly. Taking off his vest, he gently draped it over her shoulders, but Maya teasingly asked him to warm her up with his body instead. Without hesitation, she leaped toward him and hugged him tightly. The next morning, Asahi left his room at the inn. He had made up his mind not to keep relying on Maya for everything. He wanted to take on a quest that he could complete by himself. Maya, on the other hand, was overjoyed just to be able to stay by her brother's side, following him even into another world and spending every moment together, from morning till night. She believed Asahi must have felt the same way. Later, Maya noticed how quiet the room next to hers was, the one Asahi was staying in. When she checked, Asahi was nowhere to be found. The only thing left behind was a small note saying that he had stepped out for a bit. Touching his bed, she found it still warm, meaning he hadn't gone far. At first, she thought about where Asahi might have gone, but instead she ended up lying on his bed and breathing in his familiar scent from the blanket. Asahi, meanwhile, had gone to the guild to find a quest suitable for someone at his level as an ogre-class adventurer. Thanya suggested 2 options: hunting a troll, which was rated difficulty level 15, moderate, or retrieving a wyvern egg, which was difficulty level 18, high. To Asahi, both sounded impossible to handle alone. What he really wanted was a simple quest he could finish quickly, so Maya wouldn't worry and come looking for him. He asked if there were any easier quests available nearby. Thanya explained that those were typically jobs for beginner classes like rabbits or goblins. Asahi decided to take one of those anyway, reminding himself that he was still a novice, and that if the town ever faced danger, he would rush back to help. Hearing that, Thanya praised his attitude and called him admirable. She offered him a simple quest, picking rainbow mushrooms in the Claudio Forest, a level 2 quest meant for beginners. Asahi accepted it, saying that no matter how small a mission might seem, someone still had to do it. He was confident that collecting mushrooms wouldn't require Maya's help. His goal was to complete the quest quickly, earn some experience points, and pay for his stay at the inn. Once he reached Claudio Forest, Asahi easily gathered plenty of rainbow mushrooms. He found it strange that no other adventurers were around, considering how simple the task was. Suddenly, he noticed a sign warning about bears in the area. He figured bears would be rare here, but moments later, a massive bear appeared right in front of him. Asahi ran as fast as he could while the giant bear chased him down. Determined to handle it on his own, without relying on Maya, he threw the mushrooms at the bear, but the creature simply ate them. Just then, a magical explosion struck the bear, blasting it away, and sending Asahi flying through the air until he landed against someone's chest. Judging by the powerful magic and the soft impact, Asahi thought the person who saved him was Maya. Flustered, he quickly apologized for needing her help again, admitting that he just couldn't seem to manage without her. But the person he was holding wasn't Maya, it was Kilmeria. Kilmeria laughed, amused that Asahi had called her his big sister. Realizing his mistake, Asahi quickly stepped back and apologized. Kilmeria told him that being called an older sister didn't sound too bad. In fact, it gave her a strange flutter in her chest. Asahi explained that he had simply mistaken her for someone else and sincerely thanked her for saving him. Suddenly, more bears surrounded them. Panic started to set in, but Kilmeria calmly told him to relax, saying that even though there were many, they were all weak compared to her. As the bears charged, Kilmeria lifted Asahi and tossed him into the air. At that moment, she unleashed her magic, wiping out every single bear in an instant. By the time Asahi landed, Kilmeria caught him effortlessly in her arms. Amazed, Asahi told her she was incredible. Kilmeria smiled and explained that she had been testing her power by hunting bears, and that, as it turned out, Asahi had made a surprisingly good lure. Suddenly, a giant bear-like monster emerged from a crack in the ground, furious after seeing its subordinates defeated by Kilmeria. Asahi was stunned to see the massive bear wearing clothes and speaking in human language. Kilmeria had already guessed that the guardian of the Claudio Forest would appear if she hunted too many of the bears. That guardian was known as the Kaiser Bear. The Kaiser Bear accused Kilmeria of hunting fellow demons just to test her own strength. It called her Kilmeria the Destroyer. Kilmeria simply laughed and took that as a compliment. Asahi, who had only come there to collect mushrooms for his quest, couldn't believe how he had ended up in such a terrifying situation. The Kaiser Bear released its power, and Asahi felt certain that he was about to die. But Kilmeria quickly pulled him close and shielded him. The bear breathed fire toward them, assuming its attack had burned them both. However, Kilmeria had created a barrier strong enough to block the flames. She mocked the Kaiser Bear's fire, calling it weak compared to her own power. Asahi realized Kilmeria had saved him again. Kilmeria said she had to protect her little brother since Asahi had called her big sister. She then unleashed her own flames, an enormous blaze known as Crimson Blaze. The explosion was so powerful that it instantly burned the Kaiser Bear to nothing. Kilmaria had hoped the Great Bear would give her a satisfying fight, but it was defeated in a single blow like all her previous opponents. Feeling bored, she sighed in disappointment. Asahi was shocked by her overwhelming power. He thought Kilmaria's strength might even rival Maya's, or perhaps surpass it. Kilmaria asked if Asahi was hurt, but he said he was fine. Curious, he asked who she really was and whether she was one of the demons people often talked about. Kilmaria told him that she was the leader of the Demon King's army, one of the 6 demon generals known as Kilmaria the Destroyer. Asahi was startled, but Kilmaria assured him that she had no reason to harm the weak. That made Asahi wonder if demons weren't necessarily hostile toward humans after all, especially since Kilmaria had saved him twice already. She laughed and said there was no way a big sister would ever attack her little brother. Then she asked if he knew of an adventurer named Ikusaba Asahi, explaining that his appearance at the guild had been like a comet. His name was well known among adventurers. She said even the 3 Augur brothers and a wyvern had been defeated by him in a single strike. Kilmaria was convinced that Asahi was the hero of this generation and admitted she wanted to fight him someday. Asahi realized she might actually be far more unpredictable than any enemy he had faced before. He decided it was best to quietly slip away, but as he tried to escape, his adventurer badge fell to the ground. Kilmaria picked it up, read his name engraved on it, and immediately took back her earlier remark about him being weak. She said appearances could indeed be deceiving. Meanwhile, Maya suddenly felt a strong sense of unease about Asahi. Asahi ran for his life as Kilmaria chased after him, calling out and asking why he was running away. She told him to fight her instead. Terrified, Asahi was sure that a single hit from her would be the end of him. Kilmaria flew after him, nearly catching him, until a powerful force stopped her in her tracks. At that moment, Asahi rushed forward and accidentally collided with Maya. The familiar scent confirmed it for him. It was definitely her. Maya asked if Asahi was alright and what he meant when he said this time. She wondered if there had been someone else besides her. Asahi awkwardly tried to explain that it was just a misunderstanding. Kilmaria approached and asked if that earlier attack had been Maya's doing, accusing her of interrupting the duel she was about to have with Asahi. Maya said she had sensed Asahi was in danger and hurried over, realizing her instinct had been correct. She believed Kilmaria's behavior toward Asahi had been inappropriate, saying that Kilmaria's revealing outfit left no other explanation. Maya admitted that Asahi was cute and said she understood why Kilmaria might be drawn to him, though her words left Asahi completely confused. Kilmaria said she only wanted a proper battle with Asahi, but Maya misunderstood and accused her of having indecent intentions. Kilmaria grew annoyed, saying Maya had no right to call anyone indecent when her own outfit was just as revealing. Maya confidently replied that Asahi liked her outfit, which made Asahi flustered and protest immediately. Kilmaria ignored the argument, saying she didn't care who Maya was. What mattered was that she had interrupted Kilmaria's challenge. She then launched an attack. Maya reacted swiftly and blocked it. Their powers clashed, causing a massive shockwave that almost sent Asahi flying. The power between Maya and Kilmaria seemed evenly matched, and it was clear that their battle wouldn't end with just one strike. Kilmaria realized that Asahi's reputation had spread thanks to Maya's achievements, and she felt glad that the fight wouldn't be over too quickly. She then charged at Maya again, while Maya called her a strange woman. The two continued to clash fiercely, unleashing such immense power that stones and trees around them were shattered. Asahi was convinced that their strength was beyond reason. After a while, Maya managed to knock Kilmaria down. Kilmaria admitted that Maya's strength was overwhelming and said she wasn't sure whether she could win if the battle continued. Getting back on her feet, Kilmaria summoned her fiery power called Fearful Flare. Asahi started to worry about Maya, but Maya quickly unleashed her storm power. She successfully blocked the Fearful Flare, sending Kilmaria crashing to the ground. Kilmaria couldn't believe she had been defeated. She asked for Maya's name, and Maya introduced herself as Ikusaba Maya. At that moment, Kilmaria realized that Maya was actually Asahi's older sister. She then told Maya to finish her off, but Asahi suddenly stopped her. Maya asked if Asahi wanted to land the final hit himself to earn more experience points. Asahi replied that he wasn't that cruel. He reminded Maya that Kilmaria had saved him twice from monsters, and that even though Kilmaria was the leader of a demon army, she wasn't an evil person. Maya was surprised that Asahi would let Kilmaria go, considering she had once tried to take advantage of him. Asahi pointed out that Maya was the one who clung to him every day, but Maya insisted that it was simply normal physical contact between family members. Asahi continued defending Kilmaria, which made Kilmaria ask if he was pitying her. Asahi then told her that older sisters should sometimes listen to their younger brothers. After that, he invited Maya to head home. Maya asked which one of them, Kilmaria or Asahi, had been mistaken about the other. But Asahi quickly changed the subject, saying he would cook dinner for them. Maya happily said that she would enjoy anything her brother made. Asahi then mentioned that he planned to cook mushrooms for dinner. Kilmaria commented that the two of them were quite an interesting pair of siblings. Asahi explained to Maya who Kilmaria really was. Maya admitted that Kilmaria was unlike any monster they had encountered so far and acknowledged her strength. Asahi praised his sister for defeating Kilmaria all by herself, and then asked why she hadn't run out of magic points after such an intense battle. Maya claimed she was fine, but then suddenly said that her magic power was completely drained and that she couldn't walk anymore, so she asked Asahi to carry her. Asahi suspected she was pretending since she had looked perfectly fine moments ago. He ended up calling Kilmaria for help. That night, Asahi and Maya shared dinner together. They ate rainbow mushrooms, and after taking a bite, Asahi was surprised by how delicious they were. Maya said it was only natural, since Asahi had risked his life to pick them. Asahi admitted that he thought it would be a much easier mission at first. He then asked Maya why she named her powers Big Sister's Flame and Big Sister's Storm, saying those names sounded too simple compared to Kilmaria's dramatic attack names like Crimson Blaze and Fearful Flare. Maya confidently replied that even if her attack names were simple, her strength was in no way inferior to Kilmaria's. Then she thought of a cooler name, Big Sister's Hurricane. Asahi suggested that maybe she should drop the Big Sister part altogether.